that. Okay, so if you don't know what mobile banking is, that is perfectly fine too. But in today's workshop, we are going to learn about the many services mobile banking has to offer, as well as the benefits and the risks associated with it. So let's look at the agenda and what sort of things we're going to cover here today. By the end of this workshop, you will be able to, excuse me, list the ways that you can use mobile banking in your life. Use mobile banking safely and securely, and also know how to decide when it makes sense to visit a branch location versus when it makes sense to use mobile banking. Some of you may feel more comfortable banking at a branch, a local branch of your financial institution, which is sometimes referred to as a brick and mortar location. You aren't alone in that feeling. After all, branch banking is the way that our previous generations have always interacted with their financial institutions. Some banking activities are best completed at a branch location, but more and more activities are becoming increasingly convenient to complete through mobile banking. So mobile banking can be complex. Even those of us who use it regularly may not be taking advantage of all it has to offer. Learning about mobile banking is more than just knowing how to use the services, though. And we'll also discuss some best practices to make sure we all know how to use mobile banking safely and effectively. Whether you've never heard of mobile banking or you use it regularly, there is likely more that you can learn about it. Excuse me. Let's start by defining exactly what mobile banking is. Mobile banking allows you to use your mobile phone to perform transactions you might otherwise conduct from your personal computer or at a branch. It may sound simple, but it has the potential to make a big impact on your daily life. So let's start by looking at some of the activities that can be conducted using mobile banking. And if you are following along in your participant guide, go ahead and turn to page 3. So here is a list, probably not even an all-inclusive list, of many things that you can use mobile banking for. You can use mobile banking to access your account, transfer funds, bill pay, alerts, messaging with a representative from your financial institution, check deposit, transferring funds to savings or setting up an automatic transfer, automatic bill payment, account balance review, and even sending money to your friends and family. Convenience is a huge benefit of mobile banking, but mobile banking offers other benefits too. So let's look at some of those. Mobile banking is secure. Online and mobile banking may be more secure than carrying around a credit or debit card, which have account numbers and magnetic strips on them, making it easier for them to be stolen or compromised. Make sure to password protect your phone and log out of all financial apps after using them in case your phone is lost or stolen. Mobile banking can improve your ability to monitor your finances. By checking your account balances and available credit in real time, you can avoid spending more money than you have, which may result in pricey overdraft fees. Many mobile banking apps also have an optional feature that will send you notifications or alerts about the status of your account. So now that we've discussed mobile banking, let's learn about mobile wallets. Mobile wallets are a little bit different, but they're very much related to mobile banking. And mobile wallets have 4 main features. First, they connect directly to a payment source, such as a prepaid card or a bank account. They may be used for both in-person and online purchases. They are managed from multiple locations, usually from a phone, tablet, and/or a computer. And they may also hold currency or other value. For example, many mobile wallets can hold coupons, event tickets, or even loyalty program cards. So these 4 features of mobile wallets often go well with mobile banking. Both allow you to access your financial information on the go. And the ability to access financial information from anywhere has many benefits. So let's explore these benefits in more depth. So if you're still following along in your participant guide, go ahead and turn to page 5. So let's explore the convenience of mobile banking by focusing on 2 busy parents, Joe and Sarah, who need to deposit their paychecks on the first of the month. Joe and Sarah are having an extremely busy month with 2 full-time jobs, 3 children, each with their own full schedules. It can be a lot to handle. On the first of the month, Joe and Sarah write a check and mail it to their landlord for their rent. It is important that they both also deposit their checks to their respective financial institutions that same day in order for the rent check to clear and other bills to be paid. Joe's bank doesn't open until 9, which is when he needs to be at work. His only options are to try and make it on his lunch break or go after work when he also has to pick up the kids from their after-school activities. Unfortunately, he gets caught up with a client at lunch and isn't able to make it to his bank during the day. Sarah has a similar working schedule, but she's in luck. She remembers that her financial institution has a mobile app that allows her to deposit checks by taking a photo of each side. Since she doesn't have to rush into a bank location or an ATM, she offers to pick the kids up from their activities so Joe can head to his financial institution to make his deposit. Most of us are so busy all of the time, like Sarah and Joe, and we're all looking for more convenient ways to complete our to-do lists. As you can see from this story, mobile banking is often more convenient than visiting your bank in person. It allows for much more flexibility than typical branch banks, which often have limited hours. In fact, in a study by the Federal Reserve Board, consumers who adopted mobile payment activity mentioned convenience as the most common reason they did so. Mobile banking allows for easy access to accounts while on the go, resulting in increased portability and flexibility. So mobile banking also offers other features that you might need while on the go, and some of these features aren't immediately available otherwise, so including money transfers, branch and ATM locators, banking while traveling, and so on. So if you turn to page 6 in your participant guide, you will find some additional features and a more in-depth discussion of some of those. So as we've seen, mobile banking has many benefits, but it also carries some risks. Overuse and identity theft are 2 potential risks of using mobile banking. There are many myths and misinformation about mobile banking and security, so let's see how familiar everyone is with some of these. As I read through these statements, go ahead and use the chat section of this webinar and type whether you think the statement is true or false. Okay, and after we go through all the statements, we'll go back and revisit each one individually. So the first one. Consumers are more susceptible to making spur-of-the-moment or impulse purchases when using mobile banking. What do you think about that? If you think that's true or false, go ahead and put that in the chat section. And the second one, whenever consumers access sensitive, personally identifiable information via mobile banking, they put themselves at risk for identity theft. Just go ahead and type in the chat if you think that's true or false. Number 3, there's a correlation between mobile banking use and identity theft. Do you think that one's true or false? And finally, number 4, e-commerce fraud or online shopping fraud has increased by less than 10% in the first 6 months of 2017 compared to the same time frame in 2016. So do you think that's true or false? Go ahead and type that in there. Okay, so one of the risks of mobile banking is overuse. Mobile banking makes it quite easy to make payments and purchases that may not be necessary. Mobile banking allows consumers to use their mobile phones to perform transactions they might otherwise conduct from their computers or at a branch. And so for this reason, consumers are more susceptible to making spur-of-the-moment or impulse purchases. So if you said true to that first one, then you are correct. For those who may be concerned about overuse, some phones can share screen time information with you in order to help you monitor overuse. Another tip for avoiding overuse is to not save your credit card information in your phone's autofill. This can help also minimize the chances of fraud. So another concern with mobile banking is identity theft. When consumers access sensitive, personally identifiable information via mobile banking, they put themselves at risk for identity theft. Personally identifiable information consists of information such as account numbers and social security numbers. Because mobile banking allows consumers dramatically increased access to their personally identifiable information, there's a direct correlated increased risk of identity theft. E-commerce fraud, also known as online shopping fraud, occurs when a criminal uses stolen payment information to make purchases without the account owner's knowledge. Given the increased popularity of online shopping in recent years, it may not be surprising to learn that there's also been an increase in online shopping fraud. In fact, fraud increased 30% in the first 6 months of 2017 compared to 2016. There are some ways to minimize your risk of online shopping fraud, and one of the most important things you can do is to continually monitor your account. If you see anything suspicious, contact your financial institution immediately. And many credit cards also offer fraud protection. So if you aren't sure whether your card does, find out, and if it doesn't, you might want to consider switching to a different card. Your identity isn't limited to the information on your driver's license and credit cards. It is much more complex than that. So what does make up your identity? Well, identifying information is any documentation that can be used to distinguish or identify you. And for this purpose here today, we are grouping identifying information into 4 main areas: biographical, medical, biometric, and financial. Biographical information includes your name, place of birth, age, and so on. Medical information includes things such as health records, blood type, or prescriptions. And biometric data includes physical characteristics like your fingerprints, voice signature, your facial geometry, which can be used by computers to scan, or which can be scanned by computers to confirm your identity. Finally, financial information includes bank accounts and payroll information. This type of information is known as personally identifiable information. All of the dangers involved with mobile banking may make you feel like it isn't worth the risk. However, that is not necessarily the case. As with any new technology, mobile banking does carry some risks, but there are ways to protect yourself against them. If you use mobile banking correctly, you can minimize your chances of overuse or identity theft. So now I am going to turn it over to Charlotte to take it from here.
Hello. Let's carry on. When you are using a mobile app, there are 2 parties responsible for keeping your information safe: your financial institution and you. First, let's look at how your financial institution keeps your information safe. At some point in the past, generally when you originally opened your account, you should have received a privacy notice from your financial institution. It's tempting to think of this as extra paperwork and not bother reading it, but it contains some useful information. A privacy notice contains the information that the Graham-Leach-Bailey Act requires your financial institution to share with you. It may seem hard to decipher all the legalese in the privacy notice, but here are a few things to look for. What information your financial institution shares with other parts of the same company. Much of this is necessary for your financial institution to do its job. The privacy notice may use language like our affiliates or members of our corporate family. What information your financial institution shares with other companies? Again, to some extent, this may be necessary for your financial institution to do its job. For an example, a financial institution may be required to share your information with a credit bureau in order for you to receive a credit score. These companies may describe as non-affiliate third parties. What information you are able to prevent your financial institution from sharing with other companies. If you wish to opt out, how to do so. The rest of the responsibility for protecting your information falls on you. Let's look at some strategies how you can keep your information safe. I have 8 strategies listed that can help you protect your information. Use a strong password and keep it secret. If you use a banking app on your mobile device, use a different secure password for your banking app than the one you use for your phone's device lock. Always use a secure internet connection. Websites using SSL, secure socket layer, encryptions always show a web address that starts with HTTPS, which indicates that you are on a secure site. Verify who you are communicating with. Download apps from a trusted source. Use other resources to stay safe. Regularly monitor your accounts and transactions. This way you can spot any report fraud to your financial institution immediately. Do not forget to log out. Know your rights. Financial institutions are required to use reasonable effort to protect your privacy and the security of your financial information. Certain federal and state laws require the same of other businesses as well. Let's look at some scenarios of people who could have protected their information better. John can never remember his passwords, so he writes all his passwords down on a sticky note. To keep from losing his important sticky note, John sticks it right on the edge of his computer. I'm sure we've all done that. Lucy has her passwords all saved on her smartphone, so she doesn't have to keep track of them. All she has to do is unlock her smartphone and she can automatically log in. She then uses her credit union mobile app to transfer money and pay some bills. Ian lost his phone, but since he replaced it and re-downloaded the mobile app banking app on his new phone, he doesn't think he needs to mention that to his credit union. Erin has her credit union mobile banking app on her smartphone, but she doesn't like using it. Instead, she regularly logs into her accounts through her browser and her personal computer, and doesn't even log into her mobile banking app to set up dual factor identification. Now that we've looked at some scenarios, let's see if we can figure out what each of these people did wrong. What did John do wrong? If you're thinking John he should not have written all his passwords down, and he should not have left them where everybody could easily find them, you're correct. It's important to always keep your passwords safe and secure. You should never share them. It's also important to come up with a unique and complex password. For an example, 1234 is not a good password. Try to come up with a unique mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. If you have trouble remembering your password, then there are lots of safe ways to store them, such as a password manager like LastPass. What did Lucy do wrong? Lucy should not count on her smartphone passcode to keep all of her financial information safe. It is much simpler for a thief to steal or determine a simple phone passcode than to hack into your account using other means. Be careful about saving too much of your personal information on your phone, and avoid saving passwords that provide access to your accounts or other sensitive information. What did Ian do wrong? and should have notified the credit union when he lost his phone. It's important to inform your financial institution if your phone is lost or stolen so they can disable mobile banking from the lost or stolen device. What did Erin do wrong? Erin had dual identification for her account, but she chose not to use it. Dual authentication is when you have two ways to authenticate who you are. For an example, you may have to enter an authentication code you receive through a text message. If you try to log in at a new device, dual authentication is always safer than single authentication. If you have the ability to protect your account through dual authentication, you should always take advantage of it. Now that we know how to use mobile banking securely, let's learn how to use it effectively. We've talked about some ways you can use mobile banking instead of going into a branch. But there are also some activities that can only be done through mobile banking. You get your electric bill and plan to pay it next week. Suddenly, it's 3 weeks later, and you're getting charged a late fee because you forgot to pay it. You go out to dinner with a friend. When the bill comes, you realize you forgot your wallet, and your friend has to pay the whole bill. You would like to pay your friend back immediately, but without your wallet, you cannot do so. You plan to save a little money each month, but by the end of the month, your money is always gone. At least one of these, if not all of them, likely sounds familiar. Life can be busy. Even the most organized person can forget to pay a bill every once in a while, or realize at the end of the month that the money you planned on saving got spent. This is where mobile banking has the potential to make life a little easier. With each of the three scenarios mentioned above, let's see how we can figure out how mobile banking could have helped. How could mobile banking have helped with the late electric bill? Automatic bill payment could have been set up automatically. Each mobile banking app works slightly different, but they all allow you to use an app to pay your bills. By setting up automatic bill pay, you'll never have to worry about whether or not you remember to pay your electric bill. How could you have paid your friend back immediately? By transferring money to your friend electronically. Through mobile banking, you have the ability to transfer funds electronically using Zelle, Cash App, Pop Money, and many more other resources. How could you make sure money is set aside in your savings account each month before you have a chance to spend it? You can set up automatic transfers to your savings account. If you wait to start saving until you have money left over, it's likely you'll never start saving. We tend to spend as much money as we have available. This is where setting up an automatic transfer to your savings can help. If you get paid every Friday, you could set up an automatic transfer to your savings for every Friday. If something comes up, you can always transfer some of the money back to your checking account manually. But most people tend to leave money in their savings once it's there. Transferring funds through a mobile banking app can save you time. When transferring funds, though, there are a few things you should be aware of. Joel received a big bonus from work. He's excited to spend it. As soon as he gets home from work on Friday night, he uses his mobile banking app to deposit the check. Joel then walks to a nearby ATM to withdraw the cash from his bonus. After making the withdrawal, Joel receives a notification that his account is overdrawn. But Joel knows that the check he deposited was enough to cover the amount he withdrew. Now that we know Joel's story, let's see if we can figure out what went wrong. Does anyone know why Joel's account was overdrawn? Joel did not wait long enough for the funds to be available after depositing his check. Here are a few things to remember about mobile banking. Money deposited through mobile banking is not always available immediately. Your financial institution may have a limit on how much or how large a check you can deposit through mobile banking. Your financial institution may deposit some of the money from a mobile banking deposit immediately, but the rest may not be available until later. Through mobile banking, though the mobile banking can be efficient, it's important to make sure you're using it correctly. Not all banks have the same policies. If you use mobile banking, it's important to learn what your financial institution's policies are. Otherwise, you can end up accidentally overdrawing your account. We've seen how mobile banking can replace some of the tasks once had to be done in person in a branch. We've also seen how mobile banking offers some things that a typical branch location does not. Now let's wrap up by looking at the tasks that still must be completed by a branch location. Let's look at which tasks can generally only be completed at a branch location. Applying for a loan, applying or opening a new account, applying for a new brokerage or investment account, using financial advisory services, getting a safe deposit box. If you're thinking applying for a loan and opening a new account can be done through your mobile banking app, then you are correct. Applying for a new brokerage and investment account, that just depends on your financial institution. So you might want to check with your financial institution. There are some where it can be done through mobile banking, and then there are some where you will actually have to go into a branch. Using financial advisory service, again, you might want to check with your financial institution because there are multiple ways of handling that as well. And getting a safe deposit box, you will always have to go to a branch for that function. Mobile banking, you can do research on with your mobile banking app. You can check your account balances, transfer funds and pay bills, checking recent transactions, transferring money between an individual's own account, and receiving an alert. Mobile banking can be useful, but it's important to use both mobile banking and branch banking to maintain positive and detailed relationship with your financial institution. The right combination of mobile banking and branch banking can lead to a more efficient and effective banking experience. We've talked a lot about mobile and online banking. Now let's look at how to enroll in it. The exact process you should use to enroll in your financial institution mobile banking services will be dependent on the policies of your specific financial institution. However, here are some general steps that outline the process of enrolling in mobile banking and online banking services. The first step is speak to your current financial institution. The best way to know exactly what your mobile and online banking options are is to speak directly with a representative from your bank or credit union. They may point you to the product and services that are available to you, as well as let you know where to go to download the mobile applications if they have one. Step 2, download the app or visit the website. Based on your financial institution's directions, download their official banking application or visit their secure website to follow the enrollment instructions specific to your bank or credit union. Now you want to set up a secure password. Be sure to create a strong password, a mix of numbers, letters, and symbols, and keep it a secret. Do not use your birthday, maiden name, or other information that could be easily guessed or is searchable on the internet. And our final step, set up your mobile wallet. Determine if your phone or device has a mobile wallet option. If so, you may choose to link one or more payment methods, your debit or your credit card information, in order to enable both online and in-store purchases. Remember, the exact process you should use to enroll in your financial institution's mobile banking services will be determined or dependent on the policies of your specific financial institution. So be sure to do your own research and follow the recommended steps. I hope that you now feel prepared to use mobile banking and the tools it offers. Remember, mobile banking offers many of the same services as branch locations, but with the convenience and simplicity of accessing these services from your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Every financial institution offers different services and products via mobile banking. So it's important to check with your bank or credit union to see what is available to you. Even though mobile banking offers many benefits, it is still important to visit your branch locations for services such as safe deposit boxes or to speak to a representative in person. Now that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And now it's time for our drawing.